Jeff Watts from the Mic Drop Rideshare podcast had some interesting things to say about me. In this video, I'll be addressing those claims, and I'm going to propose a competition to settle this difference once and for all. That, of course, is if he accepts. I don't think he will.
$2-3 a mile is kind of what I'm aiming for because I want to do 33,000 miles a year.
He claims to aim for $2 to $3 a mile, but we have no way to verify his average so far this year. Jeff does not share his mileage. I don't even think he tracks it. That's a problem because if you watch his ride-along videos, you'll see that he routinely accepts rides that pay less than $2 per mile. Taking trips valued at less than $2 per mile isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it shows that Jeff's reality doesn't always line up with what he's preaching. You can also see that when he isn't on a ride, he's still driving his car around, which adds to the miles of his car in a way that he's not accounting for.
You know, $2-3 a mile is kind of what I'm aiming for because I want to do 33,000 miles a year, and you don't spend a lot of gas, 33,000 miles a year, and I should break at $3 a mile, $99,000. I don't need $2,000-$3,000.
Jeff says he's good with making $99,000 a year, but doesn't need to make $2,000 a week. The problem with Jeff's math is that making $99,000 a year would require him to make $1,900 weekly. You know, that amount of money he just said that he doesn't need to make.
If I drive 500 miles a week and break $1,500, I'm good. I can drive 500 miles, hit $1,200, $1,300. It's close enough, close enough.
If he's okay with making $1,200 a week, he would only make $62,000 for the year, which is over $30,000 short of what he thinks he's gonna make this year.
If you drive 1,000 miles and you're breaking $2,000 with that, everything is diminishing marginal returns. The more you do something, the less you're gonna make.
This is my least favorite part of interacting with Jeff. He likes to make up scenarios and compare his scenarios to scenarios that he just made up. This is called a straw man. A straw man is when someone creates a fake villain just so that he can justify destroying the villain he created. Here's an example. I made $2,584 in 1 week while driving 940 miles booked.
So the more you keep driving, you think you're making higher profits. You're not. You're making lower profit margins because you're driving way too many miles.
That works out to $2.74 per mile, which is within the range that Jeff claims he aims for.
$2-3 a mile is kind of what I'm aiming for.
Looking at booked miles doesn't tell the full story, but that's the information Jeff shares. I don't know the rest of his mileage because he doesn't track his mileage, so it's only fair to compare my booked miles to his booked miles. Here's what my overall miles look like for that week, since you know I track my numbers like a good business person should.
But you see all these YouTubers out there acting like they doing business. Because I stopped showing what I make every fucking week. You know why? Because of haters like y'all. Motherfuckers that like to sit around and think this is a competition. Oh, I make more than you. I'm doing more than you. And what do? I throw my bank account up on there and all you motherfuckers get mad. All he thinks success is a bank account.
Jeff claims he stopped sharing his weekly income because haters would talk about him. But then he immediately showed his bank account? I'm struggling to understand how you justified not sharing your income, but you're okay with sharing your bank account. Just like your math, something isn't adding up about what you're saying.
They think successful businesses are having no money in the fucking bank.
I have never said that a successful business is having no money in the bank. This is him creating a straw man villain again to justify his stance. The last time I checked, Jeff said he owed $30,000 on his car. It's probably less now, but if we look at this car's current value of $11,000 and subtract that from his loan of $30,000, we can see that he's actually upside down on his car loan by $20,000. Maybe it's a little less. Even though he has $17,000 in his account, he still has negative equity in his rideshare business model. And it looks like he's planning to go into more debt to get an SUV. But that's my assumption. He did say he wants the SUV. I'm assuming that he's not going to pay for it with cash. My rideshare business has no debt. I have a question. Don't you think it's easier to be profitable with fewer expenses? And I know that I might be in the minority here, but I'm on a journey to be debt-free, and all of my extra income goes towards paying off my debt. I paid off almost $40,000 in debt since September. I'm focused on fixing my net worth. You're focused on a number in your bank account despite having loans on things that go down in value. Any reasonable person would agree that using your bank account to represent how you're doing with rideshare isn't the full picture. On top of that, I know that you make money from things that aren't rideshare related.
And this is basically what I make every 30 days on YouTube, every 30 days with everything. All the content I drop, all the super thanks, all the super chats. You know, my car's been down for 3 days now. This is the third day my car's been down, so I haven't made money over the last 3 days. So you guys super chats and super thanks are carrying me.
It's disingenuous of you to no longer show how much money you make per week with rideshare, but want to share how much money you make overall from all of your sources that aren't directly tied to rideshare, like your YouTube income and other income that I might not even be aware about.
Got these idiots out there, oh, I ain't got no car note. I ain't got no car note, my car is paid off.
This is the weirdest part of the video. He's mocking me for having a paid off car. I don't even know how to respond to that. It seems like he's more interested in just tearing me down than actually making sense.
This little Beamer right here, oh, I could buy another one of these. Shit go wrong, I can go get another one.
If something were to happen to his BMW and he got another one, I wonder if he would pay it off or if he would just roll over that negative equity into the next loan that he gets.
I'm not gonna give me an Expedition. I've been looking at QX7s too. I'm gonna get me something because I wanna use both cars at the same time. I'll use this little Beamer right here for the week. But on weekends, when I know that money's gonna be stacking and people wanna treat themselves something a little bit better, I wanna run them big trucks.
This plan isn't terrible if he buys a 7-seater with cash. I don't think having 2 car payments in a financial environment with high interest rates is profit friendly. And that's me assuming that the only debt he would have is on the new car and his BMW. I still don't know if he has debt on the Jeep. I don't know if he has debt on the other car that's sitting in his driveway. I don't know if he has debt on his motorcycle. I don't know.
But you see all these YouTubers out there acting like they doing business. Ask those motherfuckers to show their bank account. Not a single one will do it. They ain't about this fucking business. They running their mouth.
I wrote this comment and he wants me to feel ashamed for saying that his bank account isn't a great way to measure success since everyone has different lifestyle and costs. But that's logical, right? That makes sense. Almost every week I went live, I broke down my rideshare numbers using my spreadsheet. In my bank account, I have income unrelated to Uber and Lyft, and I feel like it's reasonable to expect that showing off my rideshare numbers to my rideshare audience is more effective than showing how much money I have in my bank account. Don't you guys want to see the breakdown of how much money he's making per mile? Of how much he's spending on gas? Don't you want to see the actual numbers? Don't you want to see the proof? Don't you want to see the logs, right? So you can take his advice and validify it.
He's living a lifestyle his ass can't even afford. He's living beyond his means.
Here's my household budget. It averages about $3,000 a month. Of that, I'm only responsible for paying half. I only need to make $1,500 a month to survive on my budget. Jeff, please show us your monthly spending and prove that you're not living above your means as you prepare to buy your 5th vehicle. And it would be one thing if you had people driving these cars while you're driving your car, stacking up that money, but you're getting ready to buy a 5th vehicle for yourself. And if that's not living above your means, I don't know what is. I would like to do a rideshare challenge where Jeff and I can see who makes the most profit per mile. We'd start tracking in May. We would track our mileage, our expenses, and income for rideshare, and then compare our numbers for our audience for complete transparency. This isn't a competition about who can make more money. It's a competition of who has the highest profit margins in the form of a percentage. I think it's time we hold Jeff accountable for his words and have actual data to compare them to. I'll even commit to sharing my bank account balance at the end of every month, right before I pay on my student loans. Jeff keeps claiming he is a driver that is focused on profit, and he keeps claiming that I am not. So let's settle this in the only way it can actually be settled, by having real, actual accounting of our numbers. What's it gonna be, Jeff? What's it gonna be?